Hey, what's up guys? UrAvgWarGamer is back with another video of World of Warships. And in this video, I'm going to be taking a look at top 5 most powerful or the best destroyers that you can play right now in the tier 9 ranked battle Silver League, because this Silver League is entirely based on tier 9, and so that's the reason why. And also there are no carriers, by the way, which kind of makes it very important to discuss these destroyers, that I find them to be very strong, or in fact too good, that you should not miss them. And if you really want to grind out the steel in the Silver League, I think this video is going to be very helpful for you. So keep watching that information. So if you do like the content, and if you do like my top 5 destroyers and the information that I will about to give you, please like, share and subscribe. And let's talk about our number 5th ship. But before talking about the ship, I want to give you a disclaimer. These are my personal thoughts and opinions, and it could be very from from other perspective, other players' perspective. Like someone might disagree with that, but I have these very strong opinions about of these ships based on my the experience that I have for a long time in this game, and this is something that you should consider before watching this video. And let's talk about our number 5th ship, which is going to be the tier 9, the Japanese gunboat destroyer line, the Kitakaze. Now, the best thing about the Kitakaze is that you can grind it for free. It's available right now. You can play it, and it is certainly one of the best destroyers in not only in the gunboat department, but also it has decent torpedoes to make up for it. Now, why Kitakaze? Now, Kitakaze's important and a very good strength is the guns. The guns are amazing. You have 8 guns, only 100mm, but you have 3 seconds of reload time. Your DPM is very impressive, so impressive that you can even sometimes make cruiser feel ashamed of their own DPM, because it is kind of rivaling than those of DPM without heals, obviously. Kitakaze does not have access to heals, and that's where it kind of has some sort of limitation. But again, these guns are really good, not against those cruisers that if they get spotted and if you are behind the islands, you can just farm them very easily. And honestly, the damage output is so good because of this 30mm HE pen built in without even IFHE. And I mean, if you use the IFHE, it can go even further. Penning the battleships, which are having 32mm plating, makes it extremely good. The firepower is so good, in fact, that I mean, you can farm cruisers easy. If they get spotted, if you are in smoke, if you use the smokes that Kitakaze has, you will have a really good upper hand as long as they are spotted. You can even farm the battleship. I think against battleships, you're going to be certainly very potent and extremely powerful in this rank battle, especially the ships like Los Andes. If they're trying to push you, I think the Kitakaze can counter them by smoking up, and yet can just farm them very nicely as long as the smoke runs. And you also have torpedoes. You have 12 torpedoes, and I doubt with the torpedo reload booster, keep that in mind. It has 6 torpedoes base, but again, a nice addition that they have given to these gunboat destroyers is going to be the torpedo reload booster that you have also extra. And I mean, you do have, I think, 2 or 3 of them, which I would say is sufficient, especially in the case of ranked battles, whereas like we have 6 versus 6 team composition. So the consumables like that, like torpedo reload booster, heal, started to get a lot much more value compared to what we see in random battles. So the torpedoes with torpedo reload booster is highly impressive with these guns, and so you can take down these the Los Andes that you can find at tier 9. Apart from the strengths that I have mentioned, well, there are the weaknesses, obviously, that kind of really makes it at least at number 5. You can maybe even rate it at number 2 or number 3, depending upon your personal opinion or choice. At least for me, there are some better destroyers out there that have a lot much more versatility and maybe even utility. Now, Kitakaze does have a bit of a lacking maneuverability. Now, it has a turning circle of that of light cruisers, which I don't like, because it's just not gonna turn like really good compared to other destroyers at this tier. Your rudder shift time is also, again, kind of more towards the light cruisers. And that's the reason why Kitakaze kind of suffers a bit. Your concealment is also 6.1 kilometer if you fully build for it, which again kind of is a bit it's a bit lacking. There are some destroyers out there like Somme that has really good gun power, and you also have eels that kind of makes Kitakaze a bit underwhelming, because he can smoke up with short smokes, and you have to maybe even utilize the smoke as well, or maybe you will get perma spotted by maybe the ships like Jager. So yeah, that lack of concealment started to get a bit too much sometimes when there is a competitive destroyer in the ranked battle, and that's the reason why I kind of feel Kitakaze a bit short in concealment and maneuverability. But other than that, oh boy, that ship is really good. And it is for free. Like, you can just grind the Kitakaze line, you can get it and have it in your port, and you can just play it very easy peasy, lemon squeezy in the ranked battles. You will have a really good, comfortable time if the destroyers do a big mistake in pushing towards you. If they push you and if they are spotted, your gun DPM is gonna be unlike anything. You can just kill them without a doubt, and that's the thing about the Kitakaze that just make it extremely powerful. It's just the concealment that kinda really makes it at number 5. Okay. Other than that, pick a boat like Kitakaze and you will enjoy it. At number 4, I would highly rate Benham as a torpedo boat destroyer to be in this list at number 4. Well, I am not a big fan of torpedo boats, but this certainly is an exception. Now, Benham is something unlike anything at tier 9. It has the torpedoes, like 16 of them, 8 on each side, having a reload time that can go as down as 65 seconds, which is almost more than a minute. And then you can just send these torpedoes every minute, 16 of them onto a target. And also, by the way, this Benham has a really amazing torpedo angles, the torpedo firing angles that I'm talking about. That's what the best thing about the Benham. Now, the gunboat department might not be that bad. Like, I mean, it has 4 guns compared to maybe you can maybe compare it with Fletcher that has 5 guns. Maybe there's a kid that also have 5 guns at tier 8. But Benham is sort of having a bit of a lacking firepower. But it's not too bad. 3.3 seconds of reload time, it's still going to be having an HE DPM of 130k, which is almost as close as to that of Yugumo. So with that said, I think Benham feels really nice. At least the thing about the Benham is going to be the torpedoes, which are really impressive. The range is, I mean, compared to today meta, is a bit onto the lacking side at 10.5, but even then I find it really comfortable, especially if there's a battleship or cruiser that is pushing towards you, man. This torpedo alpha, 15k, I mean, if I really look at the Ostrogothland has torpedoes that have only 10.7k, okay? They have fast speed, and also relatively not the best of the reload time at 100 seconds. You cannot really able to compare it with Benham in that regard. Maybe you can just certainly say that these are a lot much more effective in getting hits, but Benham is also not too far because again, the concealment of the torpedoes is 1.4 kilometer with 68 knots, at least with my build, which kind of makes it extremely impressive. The reaction time is way better than those of Yugumo torpedoes. Like Yugumo torpedoes hit harder, more than 20k alpha, but again, the reaction time is certainly higher. And Benham has 7.7 seconds of reaction time. And then you spam so many torpedoes, it's not even funny for a cruiser and especially the battleship to deal with. So, I mean, if you throw so many torpedoes, they will going to hit not only onto the battleship cruisers, they will also certainly going to hit against destroyers. And I mean, if you use the RPF on Benham, it's just gonna get it even more powerful. Like, honestly, it just makes it extremely ridiculous if there's a Benham onto the flank, and if you are pushing against Benham, you're just gonna be doing the biggest mistake in ranked battles because he will just top you to death. There's just no other way. So that's the reason why I absolutely love Benham. The gunpowder I mean, you have the smokes. These are American smokes, long duration, so you can always disengage, you can always farm with this DPM if you want to set fires. It's not going to be as impressive as Kitakaze, not even impressive, even close to impressive like Kitakaze, but still you have speed boost, you do have smoke, so you can farm ships pretty much here and there, and then you also send so many torpedoes, you will just flood the sea with torpedoes, to be honest. That's how it kind of feels like to play Benham. And then you also have really good maneuverability at 38.3 knots if you use the speed flag. So maneuverability, turning circle, rudder shift time is very impressive. You're very nimble. Your profile is very small, so the shell's chance to hit if you are in kiting position is going to be really not that much. Like, it's going to be very difficult to hit the Benham. But again, the problem with the Benham is that at least one of the biggest problem of the Benham is that it has one of the very lowest HP pool at this tier, only at 18.5k. Which I'm not a big fan of. This HP is definitely very low. There are some ships out there that have like almost 5 to 6,000 to 7,000 HP more than Benham, or at least 3 to 4,000 HP in general or in average. So that's where maneuverability, the HP pool kind of feels a bit short. The maneuverability is impressive. The concealment is also, for a torpedo boat destroyer, is not that impressive. For example, if I really compare it with Jager I think is the best comparison that I can do with Benham, but again, the damage, look at the damage of torpedoes. Half the damage of torpedoes at 7.5k. Benham has double the torpedo damage at 15.2k. Like, it's insane. Like, Jager is a good torpedo boat. At least one of the things that makes Jager really good, that it has impressive concealment at 5.4 kilometer. And that's where Benham kind of suffers. Your concealment is such that you can outspot it by even the gunboat destroyers. At least even like the Kitakaze that I have explained before has 6.1 kilometers. So he can also slightly push into you and can spot you as well in return. So that's the reason why Benham kind of feels a bit difficult in these situations. Otherwise, with this insane torpedo spam, I think you cannot go wrong with this 1 minute of reload time for 16 of the torpedoes that you can throw. It's just gonna really easily able to slightly give. I would slightly give edge, at least compared to Kitakaze. The Benham, then Kitakaze at number 4. At number 3, I would rate this Soviet premium destroyer that is available right now for pretty expensive amount of coal, Neustrashimy. Now, this Neustrashimy is a insanely good destroyer to play in ranked battles. There are many reasons for that. First reason, I think the biggest reason of all is going to be this concealment. You have an absurdly good concealment, considering that you also have, average guns. I'm not saying that they're having a very good reload time on 4 of these guns, but I will talk about this later because I have to relate this with the heals, the special heals, which I will explain. So you have a concealment of 5.6 kilometer, which is very impressive. You can outspot many destroyers at this tier, except maybe Jager and Yugomo that have 5.4 or 5.5 kilometer. But on the other hand, unlike Jager and Yugomo, or at least Jager does have heals, but they are not like the specialized repair teams or the super heals as we call it. Neustrashimy becomes kind of like a zombie. If it takes a lot of damage, well, you can heal back significant of that much HP just by using the super heals. You have pretty solid HP of 24k, which means that it will directly increase the HP more if you are using the heal. So Neustrashimy can tank so much damage that it kind of really makes it good if you are trying to even trade against a destroyer. First of all, you will easily able to outspot them since you have 5.6 kilometer, which means that you have a good chance of getting your shells up in the air against those destroyers that going to get spotted, right? So you will be able to shoot them first, and then since your DPM might not be that impressive, if they trade you back, for example, there's a black, he smokes up radar, then you will take a lot of damage, right? Other destroyers won't be able to do much, but at least Neustrashimy can super heal at least like 7 to 8k of its HP with a single heal, which kind of makes it pretty absurd. Your practical HP, your theoretical HP seems to be like 24k, but practically it can go to like 35k or at least something like that, which is very impressive for a destroyer, okay, with that impressive concealment, okay. Your speed is good, your turning circle is not. It's a bit sluggish because of the 700 meter turning circle, just like Kitakaze, but rudder shift is a bit better. But again, apart from the sluggishness, still your heal is really impressive. It does not have built-in French saturation or something like that. Like that would make it completely broken. But even then, if you take huge HE pen, you can just heal back quite a lot of that for some good time with these 3 heals, which kind of makes it very impressive. You have a speed boost, you also have smoke, and then you also have torpedoes. Now torpedoes are 10 of them. Decent reload time at 125 seconds, unlike Kitakaze is like 157, 170. I don't remember the exact number of the reload time, but again, way better than Kitakaze and more torpedoes than Kitakaze. I mean, you cannot really compare it with Benham, but then Benham does not have that concealment, and it also does not have the specialized repair teams. And that's where the Neustrashimy kind of shines with its like overall good in everything, but not perfect in anything, except maybe you can say it's one of the best, at least in terms of the concealment. But other than that, the guns are not super powerful, the torpedoes are not super powerful, but again, your survivability is so high that I have to rate it highly, at least in ranked battles, because if you take huge damage, you can just heal back. If you take huge damage, you can always smoke up and still heal back, and you also have the speed boost to run away from that situation with this already decent decent speed of 37.8 knots. You can get it up to like 40 knots or something. So that is like very nice features of Neustrashimy. And because of this survivability alone and able to trade trade against the destroyers because, well, you know that if you shoot, you do a lot of damage. They won't be able to heal you. Sorry, they won't be able to heal in return, but you can heal back a lot of HP in return. Means that your trade is a lot much more better. Okay. And that's the reason why I would say Neustrashimy is kind of like a zombie of a destroyer, a special destroyer, and a very nice in basically having every tool that you want in a destroyer in the game. And I think that's the reason why in the ranked battle season, I think this will go really nice if you play it. At number 2, I would rate Somme, or I would say the Jutland. Now, Jutland and Somme are basically the same ships, except the Somme is a premium, which will earn you a lot of credits, and, well, putting a special captain, or I would say legendary captain, Andrew Cunningham, on this Somme is a lot going to be easier, and hence the reason why I would rate it slightly, over the Jutland. And why I would say or rate Somme to be very strong tier 9 premium destroyer. Well, here are the reasons. Somme, because it's a Jutland, it's basically going to have similar parameters. But here's the thing that really makes Jutland good. The guns, very good reload time, very decent guns with 6 of them. You have really good HP at 22k, slightly less than Neustrashimy, but I would say still impressive. You, just like Neustrashimy, have heals, which I would say is increasing the survivability a lot. Like your HP can go like more than 28, 29k if you use these heals, all of them, which I would say is very nice. So almost, you can get to almost 30k with all the heals used together, right? And then even Andrew Cunningham can give you extra heal if you get 2 kills, which again increases the survivability even further. You can get extra short burst smoke generator, which I would say these are the best smokes in the game, and I think I just love Somme because of that. Your short engagements that you can do against battleships, cruisers, or destroyers just gonna make you extremely versatile. Honestly, like, if anyone, like a cruiser, shoot the guns and it's spotted by something else, you can always smoke up, farm for like 20-30 seconds, and then you just disengage, and then you are back to just spot them back with your really impressive concealment of 5.7. Your speed, even though it's one of the weakness without having speed boost, it kind of have this lacking speed. But other than that, I think the Somme is a very good ship. I would even rate it better than Neustrashimy, Kitakaze, and Benham because of the overall survivability with the help of smokes and with the help of short-range hydroacoustic search. Now, the ships that I have explained before does not have access to hydro, and this having hydro is a lot much more powerful, right? You can just simply able to spot torpedoes. You probably, because of the built-in British acceleration, they accelerate very quickly, these British destroyers, and with the short-range hydroacoustic search, you will just simply never going to eat torpedoes because the action time is also like very impressive. At least with my build, it's 200 seconds, which is very good. Like, it's over 3 minutes. So yeah, the survivability, the guns, AP just gonna. The thing about the Jutland or Somme is that its AP actually able to penetrate destroyers, unlike any other destroyer that will simply overpen. They will just simply going to penetrate on broadsides because it having short fuse AP and also improved ricochet angles, which kind of really makes it even better if you use AP onto the destroyer's broadside, increasing the DPM even further against them. Your HA DPM is not too bad at 162k, but again, you can always disengage with smoke if someone spots you like a destroyer, and then you can just always hydro to maybe dodge those Jager torpedoes that are coming towards you, even the Benham torpedoes. So you can counter these torpedo boat destroyers fairly with this very good concealment at 5.7 kilometer. Like, you can simply slightly push a bit, and you can able to outspot them in return as well. Like, not outspot them, but at least you can spot them back in return, at least if you slightly push and take a bit of a risk. So because of these good stuff, like, it has everything good like Neustrashimy, but having extra perks like hydro and just way better smokes, like the short burst smoke generator, and insanely good maneuverability. Like, this, other than speed, I think the turning circle and rudder shift is very impressive. Because of these things, because of the torpedoes, you still have 10 torpedoes with very good reload time like Neustrashimy at the 15.5k. It just makes it extremely flexible and I would say versatile destroyer that you can get right now at tier 9. I mean, it's available for coal. You can easily put Andrew Cunningham. Getting extra perks is always going to be good, and since you getting extra consumables with the help of the captain skill, with the help of the proc, the skill proc that it has built in, the Andrew Cunningham, like this equipment spoils, you will get extra consumables. just making it even more powerful at number 2. Without a doubt, if you play it, you will have a lot of fun. I don't think so it should be a surprise to you guys. I'm quite sure that you might be expecting black in this list, and well, here it is. Black, in my opinion, is an extremely hard counter to any destroyer right now. Black has access to radar. At number 1, I will simply rate black over any other destroyer because your hard counter or ability to just simply kill destroyers with the help of smoke and radar combo, it just kind of makes it the most broken. Still, like it's been many years ago since it got released, and now even still, because of the smoke radar combo, it just kind of makes it still absurd, to fight against. Black makes it pretty easily for me at number 1. Like, you can just simply smoke up. Your HEDPM is still very good with the reload time, like 193k. You just simply, smoke up. You just radar to other destroyer. You have 7.5 kilometer of radar. The kilometer, like 7.5 kilometer radar, which is like impressive. Your concealment is really impressive at 5.8. So the moment you get spotted, you know that it is extremely close to you at around 5.8 or something like that, because he spots you at that area, right? At that range of this detection, right? And then you can just simply smoke up and you can just radar, and you're just going to just trade so much HP of that poor destroyer that maybe thought of just pushing or doing something here. Unless he able to torpedo you, like if he able to torpedo you if you're in smoke for a long time, then you can be countered. But again, a good player knows that I have chunked half of his HP, or at least usually what I have seen when I have played this myself, that I have at least chunked half of their HP or slightly more than half of their HP, or even sometimes because of the radar and the focus fire that comes from the teammates, you can fully able to kill that destroyer and he won't be able to run out of this radar, because again, it's basically I would say stealth radar. Like, the moment you get spotted, you can just radar and they will never going to be able to run out of this radar for 25 seconds. Like, what is this, Wargaming? Come on. Why are you putting a radar with smoke? It just makes it completely shit right now, even today's standards. I mean, there are more broken ships nowadays, but this is still broken. So, yeah. On top of that, your range is, for some reason, very impressive at 12.9 kilometer, but your shell arcs, the shell velocity, the shells that you throw onto these destroyers at maybe 8-9 kilometers is going to be extremely difficult. The shells are very floatier, they are very arcy, these are American 127mm guns, so these are gonna be taking a lot of time to take down the destroyer at long ranges. At least it's gonna be very difficult, at least in the shell velocity and in the shell trajectory. So yeah, that's where it's gonna be a bit of a difficult thing. But again, you can farm battleships easy, no problem, while you can just simply smoke up. If you utilize the same smoke that you did against destroyer, you can simply able to, if not eat torpedoes, can farm those battleships if they are spotted. And your HP pool is also very nice at 21.3k. It does not have access to heals. I mean, like Somme, it does not have access to short burst smoke generators, which is a big downgrade. But again, you cannot get everything in a single destroyer, right? But at least what you get in return is the radar, which is extremely, like, honestly, it's so powerful right now. You could just simply trade them off, only going to get maybe countered by Chungmoos, which again are also a Fletcher class destroyer. These Chungmoos can simply radar you back, but other than that, I don't think so black going to get countered by much. Maybe the Alkitonis can do that with a very short radar, but black has very long radar. So yeah, that's where the black is gonna be pretty powerful. So overall, I would say with these torpedoes, which are they kind of work like deep water. I mean, I have to mention the black torpedoes. You have 10 of them. Your damage is insane, like 21.6k. You are actually closer to that of like Japanese torpedoes. Like, for example, Yugumo has what? Let me check. Yugumo has like what? 21k torpedo damage alpha. Black also have very similar torpedo damage alpha. There's almost little to no difference. And your torpedo range is better than many other destroyers out there. At this stage, 13.7 kilometer. Is very good. The only problem with the black torpedoes is going to be these very slow torpedoes. Like, these torpedoes are 43 knots. They are even slower than those of Schultz and Elbing. Like, Schultz and Elbing have 50 knots of speed, right? Even though they have worse detection on their torpedoes, but again, insanely slow torpedoes if you look at that. So black actually kind of suffers from those slow torpedoes, but again, If you only think them as sea mines, you just send them and you just pretend they will hit. You just send them, like you have 10 torpedoes at least. You don't have 5 torpedoes, so that's not like too bad. Because of that, it's still going to be pretty viable. Like at least at close ranges, it's going to be still very, very useful. Also, one more thing that really makes black torpedoes good, that it still have a base reload time of 96 seconds, which means that its torpedo DPM is very, very impressive. For example, compared to like UrAvgWarGamer, you have even less than half of the damage than black torpedoes, and you have 100 seconds of base reload time. Yeah, that's how good torpedo DPM of the black is. It's like double the DPM, at least compared to UrAvgWarGamer, more than double the DPM. And your range is also very good at 13.7 kilometers. So because of this, black torpedoes, black guns, if you want to farm battleships, and with the powerful radar combo that you can do against destroyers, it simply makes it extremely powerful at number 1. I don't think so there's very, very hard counter to that. Just like I said, Changmu can do that, but other than that, I don't think so. The speed is okay at 37 knots. Could be better, but it's not. You can even able to use the speed boost, but I don't think so. The point of black really going to be at number 1 then. Is the radar just makes it at number 1. Otherwise, it would be pretty much go down to at maybe number 5 or number 6 or number 7. I don't know. It's just gonna go that bad if you just take out the radar. For me, at least. So yeah, that's basically the black, and I hope I just able to complete. Review them sort of, or just give them the analysis and my thoughts that why I do like these destroyers in particular. But there are some destroyers that I would like to give you as honorable mentions that I have to say are extremely powerful as well. Like I love ZF6. I mean, ZF6 can also, I would say, can easily go to number 2 or number 3 or number 1 even, because of really, really strong capabilities that I have to say that I have to mention right now. Like ZF6 HEDPM might not look impressive. 54k HEDPM, that looks terrible. But your APDPM is good at 119k. Your reload time with, I would say, 5 of the guns is pretty okay. I mean, remember guys that its HEDPM is basically based on 2 area of turrets, right? You have 2 turrets, and that's why it has reduced HEDPM, okay? You also have 3 turrets, so the total DPM is still gonna be pretty okay? It's like more than 130k HEDPM, or at least the AP DPM is like 300k, which I actually kind of just didn't realize it. Sorry guys, I was thinking of looking at the numbers and I just realized, oh, what happened? Like it has 2 terrible DPM. Like what happened to the ZF6? But then I realized that it has 3 turrets here, 2 turrets here, and it's just showing the DPM for 3 turrets here and for the 2 turrets here. So yeah, a bit of a bad thing from my side. Didn't able to explain it well, but at least now I just cleared the problem. Your HP pool pretty much similar like black, but what really makes these guns insane, your AP DPM as you can already see is almost 300k. Well, that's the thing. ZF6 having a reload booster, having the speed, and having the smokes, and out of all the things, ZF6 with this insane DPM, it's not having insane DPM, at least the AP is very impressive. AP DPM is very impressive. It can go double, I would say, like 50% minus reload time, like for what? For some good time? For some at least 15 seconds? It's just gonna make AP DPM to like what? 600k AP DPM? If you're shooting onto the broadside destroyer. Now, one more thing about the ZF6 is that you have, as you can see, already a torpedo booster, but you also have improved ricochet angles, just like Des Moines levels of improved ricochet angles on AP. You know what that really means is you can actually able to penetrate the destroyers if they are started to slightly angle against you. Maybe the broadside destroyers might not take that much damage because you will get overpens because it does not have short fuse or reduced arming threshold, but at least what it has is these AP angles, improved ricochet angles, which just gonna really makes this AP DPM so nasty onto that destroyer that got spotted with this insanely good 5.8 kilometer detection that it kind of feels like a German Mogador. Honestly, it's like a German Mogador, okay? Your speed is good. It's not like Mogador though, but again, just like I said, it's like a German Mogador with a reload booster. Its guns are good. Its maneuverability is good. Like, it's okay. The turning circle is fine. The rudder shift's fine. Your concealment is like really good for considering it's a really good gunboat platform. And then you also have torpedoes, which are only limited like 8 kilometers, but you have high damaging torpedoes, like again those of French torpedoes. Like for example, if I look at the Mogador, I think the Mogador torpedoes are also kind of having the same damage. Look at that, 18.4k damage, and you're also getting this similar level of damage in the ZF6 with only 8 kilometers, with just like on the Mogador. But again, huge advantage of concealment, like compared to Mogador, and hence the reason why these reload boosters are also gonna be insane thing. You have 5 of them if you fully build this way that I have done. And the thing that really makes it even more absurd is if you get a lot of shell hits, for example, you will gonna get a buff of main battery reload time by minus 7.5%, which again shows that you can increase the DPM with the help of the legendary captain, right? And then you also can have extra heal depending upon the spotting ribbons that you farm. Again, something that just makes ZF6 even more powerful, even though you don't have heals, okay? So, and you have so many reload boosters that you can pump onto those ships out there in the ranked battles, that I think it's just gonna makes it really powerful. What I really meant by that is that you have 5 reload boosters, okay? If you use it in random battles, those reload boosters will be spread across many targets. But in the case of ranked battles, since the ship composition is small and the targets are limited, or the enemy ships are limited, maybe the destroyer, maybe 1 or 2, if you even able to pump 2 reload boosters onto a single destroyer, you can simply imagine the impact that ZF6 can make onto that poor destroyer. And this is what I want to basically say if I really look at the main battery reload booster this way. So that's the reason why it feels really nice. Yes, guys, I haven't forget the Groningen. You might be thinking, where's the Groningen? There it is. The Groningen is there. And it is kind of like a very good alternate to Kitakaze. If you don't like torpedoes, at all, like me, and if you really want extremely good gunpowder, having American smokes, having a hydro of 5 kilometers, which you can actually use offensively if you want to push a destroyer in smoke. Take a look at the Groningen. It's just simply a beast, man. The HED, look at the HEDPM. HEDPM is 279k. Now that is just slightly less than that of ZF6 that I was talking about, and way more than many other destroyers out there at this tier. Your gun range is good. Your maneuverability, which I will talk about it a bit later, it's not that good. Like, you don't have speed boost, but again, the power of the Groningen lies on smoke up. You just farm with these 4 guns, but the reload time is 1.5 seconds, which kind of is it's like an insanely good reload time. And look at the fire chance, with 9.5% fire chance with this special captain. Just put the flags. 10.5% fire chance with this amount of shells that you throw. Imagine that, and then you can pretty much think Groningen to be like the insane fire starter in the game, right? And then you have so many shells, right, to throw onto a battleship. If you smoke up, you have American smokes, you have hydro, so you don't have to eat torpedoes in smoke. Oh, it's a beast, man. It's really a beast, except one thing, which I will now explain. Bad maneuverability, its speed is not good, it does not have access to engine boost, so which means that if you get completely off guard, you are going to get screwed. Your concealment can go as low as, I would say, 6.4 kilometer, which again, you can just get outspotted by all the other destroyers, almost all the other destroyers at least, which kind of makes it a bit difficult. It's about them making a huge mistake into pushing you, and then you can counter them back. And if you can able to do some good damage to them, or I would say insane damage to them, then you will just simply kill them. This is sort of a balancing factor that they have done with the Groningen. And that's the reason why it's a very, very powerful, specialized gunboat for sure that you should definitely pick if you have an option in the honorable mentions that I'm going to say. Okay, so Jager is also going to be in the honorable mentions simply because it's like a poor man's the Benham. The Benham that I was explaining at number 4 as going to be very, very strong pick, but the thing is about the Benham that it is a rare destroyer. The Jager is not a rare destroyer. You can actually get it for coal. And hence the reason why it kind of makes it a bit interesting. Now, Jager is interesting by these very funny torpedoes that have like damage like these are like pea shooters. They do almost negligible torpedoes compared to many other torpedoes, like for example the Yugumo, for example the Mogedor, for example even the Black, even the Benham. Benham has double the torpedo damage than Jager, but again Jager has a reload time that can go as down as 65 seconds for 12 of them. So you have a lot of torpedoes that you can throw, and you have the speed like those of Holland. You have the speed like those of Holland. If you look at the torpedoes, you can have a 95 knots of speed with 1.8 kilometer detection, and the reaction time is certainly better if you fully build like this. Really makes Jager one of the very fun destroyers, especially there is no carriers out there as well. So I don't think so. I should not recommend Jager at all. In fact, Jager is gonna be very interesting destroyer because of the very impressive concealment at 5.4 kilometer. This is the same concealment that you find on Asashio class, or I would say maybe the destroyers that are Kagero. Maybe the Kitakaze also have 5.4 kilometer. Like those Japanese destroyers, you can actually rival them with this really insanely good concealment and really good speed as well. Your speed is also pretty good. The base speed is pretty impressive at 39 knots. It's almost like Shimankaze levels of speed almost. So it's very good. You also have heals. You also have speed boost. So yeah, you can just get to the flanks extremely quickly. Send these torpedoes every minute. Every minute 12 of these torpedoes, and you're just gonna make battleship life extremely hell, honestly. Your range is way better, I would say, at least better than Benham for sure, and that's the reason why I like them a lot. And your speed is just like I said, 95 knots. These are like fantasy torpedoes, really. If you look at them, they're just gonna hit to you, man, really quickly. So they don't do much damage. Flood chances are also gonna be a bit lower, but again, you're gonna be having a lot of fun. Weaknesses: really bad guns. 3 guns, 4.5 seconds of reload time. Pretty bad DPM. Look at the EG DPM. This is not gonna kill any destroyer, I'm telling you. Even the Yugumo can be able to gunboat you down, or any other destroyer. At least Yugumo is not that bad of a the destroyer in terms of the gun performance. It's still okay, but again, I would say the Jaeger is just not gonna do anything to those destroyers except to just completely outspot them every single time. So I would say this is it for the top 5 destroyers and the honorable mentions that I have done here. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I could even maybe mention the Paolo Emilio. It's also going to be a very fun destroyer, but again, a lot of hydros out there, a lot of ships out there that have potentially something going for it. I don't think so it's going to be that easy, but other than that, you can pick these ships like Jager, ZF6, or even the Groningen. Groningen for sure, it's really nice. So if you do like the content, please like, comment, and share, and I will end the video. Take care, guys, and I will catch you guys into the next one. Peace out.